Our next step is step 4, which is to create a data set. And to do that, we're going to go past the wall, past persona to our data set page. And here again, we'll use the widget, just as we did in step 3. We'll scroll down to data set. Now, data set is essentially going to store our items. It'll store all of our statements. But in addition to the store of statements, it's going to also have properties that relate to the persona and whether the statement is correct, as well as a citation and feedback. So essentially to create our data set, we need to first create our properties. So these are the properties that will be in the data set. And a data set will be a collection of these properties. Let's start with the property persona. Ensure that you follow the case sensitive, make sure that it's case sensitive. So this is a capital P. Later I will make it all lowercase, but be careful that your property names precisely match my own. So persona is the first property, and then we'll have a statement that'll hold a statement related to how learning works. Add the plus button. And this essentially, I think this property is misnamed. I should have called it correctness, but because the scripts already refer to this as correct, I'll leave it. But this will either be true or false. The statement is either true or false. Next, this is lowercase, citation, and that way we can put in a reference to a piece of research or a paper that supports the statement. And lastly, feedback, lowercase. That's 5 properties. To generate one data set from that, I'll click generate, and now it's as if I had a table with column headings: persona, statement, correct, citation. So I have a table with column headings, and this is the first row of that table. So I've skipped ahead. I've created the 5 properties, and then I went ahead and filled in 24 items. So you can see here that I have altogether 24 items. Let me just kind of review the information that we have in our data set. Here for persona, so this statement would be true for both experts and novices. Essentially for persona, I have 3 possibilities: all, adult underscore novice, adult underscore expert. So here the statement is address prior knowledge. Well, that's true for everybody, and the correctness is true. And then I have a citation, some backing for this statement. And then feedback, connecting new knowledge with what learners already know enhances learning. In the second one, again, I have this is false for everybody. Always choose discovery learning over explicit instruction. Well, that's just plain false, no matter who it is. Explicit instruction always outperforms discovery learning, except for experts with strong prior knowledge. Let's look at items. So the first 10 items I have true for everybody. So I have a combination of false and true statements. And then by the time I get to about item 17, now I have information that's specific to the persona. So here, this is an adult novice, and the statement is prioritize worked examples to improve learning for this learner. Well, that's true of an adult novice. Now, in our interface, in our actual challenge, the challenge might randomly bring up an expert. So we'll see this statement, but what's chosen is an expert. Therefore, the learner should indicate false because this is only true for an adult novice. And then here's our feedback. Showing solved problems helps beginners. Here's another example. Adult expert. So this statement is only true of adult experts. Add real problems with complexity. Then we have the citation and the feedback. This is true for everybody. True for everybody. Adult expert, create varied examples that challenge schemas. So only experts have established schemas in this particular knowledge domain. So this would be only true of experts. Here's an adult novice. So structure learning with guidance that fades over time. Well, that would be true of novices. It's a good strategy. For adult experts, provide outcome feedback rather than corrective feedback. That would be true if an adult expert were randomly chosen. And here, consider that discovery learning is an option for this type of learner. Well, it would be true for an adult expert, but if a novice were randomly selected, then the learner would have to indicate false in order to get a point. So we have 24 statements like this, and as I mentioned before, the earlier statements are easier because they apply to everybody. If they're false for everybody. So essentially, if the correctness is false, you don't even have to worry about the persona because we're just assuming it's false for everybody. So in each case where I've indicated false, I've ensured that all, it's the statements that are false will be false for everybody every time. Great. So now we'll hit OK. And we have our data set. A critical point that I missed, so I'll go back into the data set, is I have to give the data set an ID. Don't forget to do that. So in this case, the ID is statements. So we can refer to this set of statements through this ID. We can refer to this data set through this ID. So once you've established your properties, you never touch this again. You never have to worry about this part. You're just tweaking and filling in this part here. So that concludes step 4. In our next step, we'll begin to write scripts that refer to this data set. Until next time.